All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be exciting. Today, we're going to go for a drive in Wheels FD RX-7 that came off the ship, extensively modified already, clearly for track use. That's what you get sometimes when you import an FD RX-7 from Japan. It's kind of a trade-off because yeah, maybe you want like a factory fresh example, but on the other hand, it's kind of cool. You're kind of taking on a bit of the Japanese culture and how they modify their cars over there and bringing it here to kind of make like a mashup of your own. So consider this a before video. Let's go for a drive and see how it does. All right, let's go, FD. Watch the front, maybe, the front bumper.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. Oh yeah, 200 bucks. Wow, it's been way too long since I've been in an FD, but this one, oh wow, I almost stalled it. So, unknown clutch on this one. They brought this in about a year ago. If I remember correctly, the odometer shows 83,000 kilometers now. Wheel said it showed 78,000 when they brought it in. Oh my God, so much noise. Now, whether that's authentic is the real question. Everybody knows exotics get rolled back, they get clusters swapped out. Same goes for imports. Yes, if you think the people of Japan are so incredibly altruistic that they would not, nobody would consider rolling back an odometer, you're wrong. That's just not the reality of the situation. So that's the first thing to watch out for, especially with a car that was brought in with this extensive of modifications. All right, I'm getting used to the clutch. Let's go. Wow. Big noise from the diff. Strong power, a lot smoother than I thought. An APEXi Power FC here, FC Commander, old school. That's awesome to see, old school gritty gauges here as well. Way too many gauges. Way too many gauges. We do not need an extra tack, or do we? Actually, in Will's case, we do, because the tack needle has completely fallen off. Now, he says it was pinned at 9,000 RPM or something when he brought it in, and then eventually just fell off. So it's like a fish tank. We've got a dead fish in our fish bowl. Time to clean it out, Will. Time to clean it out. So we just put a sticker here telling him not to look. Now I gotta look all the way over there, but luckily it has a shift light, so that should come in handy. 2,500 RPM, second gear, roll into it. No, full boost doesn't hit till 5. No, it's not 4. It starts rolling on at 4,000, takes an entire RPM to hit. Very smooth though. Totally factory port. I don't think it has a street port. Definitely doesn't have a bridge port by the sounds of it. And for the power levels. But what has been done, it's been fitted essentially with a full-on Greddy turbo kit. Journal bearing turbo T78. And so it should be right close to a 1.0 AR. I don't know the exact specifications of the turbo, but recently, so came off the boat with that, but recently Will has modified the turbo, or had the turbo modified with slightly larger internals. So it has been rebuilt, it's fresh, so the turbo should be good. Whew. God, it sounds good though. It's a lazy turbo, but it kind of makes up for the fact that the sequentials are gone here. It's very smooth to roll on. I mean, ideally, you might want to go for a ball bearing Garrett GTX or something. Now, it definitely had a questionable history. It came with a welded diff. It's clear to me this one is a driver. It didn't come off the boat to wide eyes, or maybe it did, but they weren't the same ones that lock onto a low mileage, an original NSX, GTR, or similar. Since then, the C West skirts remain, a proper LSD thrown in, and the original REMMEA front bumper swapped out, unfortunately because of a slight driver miscalculation. Panel gaps and fitment are not perfect here, but that's just what this car is, right? It's a product of its environment. When was the last time you saw someone rushing to throw around a low mileage and stock FD at the track? Whoever owned this car on the other side of the pond loved driving. No show, just scars and seat time. Out of the almost 60,000 FD RX-7s that were produced from 1992 to 2002, just about 14,000 of those were destined for the US market. So a couple of things have happened since they've become legal to import. One is that, of course, over time, cars get crashed and there's less and less available in clean condition. And the second thing is the supply got jacked up. There were so many more FDs coming in because in Japan they got the majority of them. But because in Japan they got the majority of the FD RX-7s, it wasn't as taboo to modify them. So a lot of people actually did some crazy things. So when you're going to import an FD RX-7 from Japan, what should you look for? Should you even bother importing from Japan, or maybe pay a premium for a left-hand drive model? So, and people are still paying incredible amounts of cash for FD RX-7s, even though in Japan there are so many of them, and that is not something that I would have expected. A lot of the ones in North America, yeah, the reality is they're generally a lot cleaner, a lot low mileage, and a lot less beat on. And yeah, you can get one, like Will got this for a reasonable price. But of course, there's things you have to deal with and things you have to change. Wow, that diff is loud during the shifts. The welded diff is gone, by the way. Will swapped it out actually with an automatic RX-8 differential. Like if I had to guess, this was maybe a third or fourth owner car who, you know, maybe had a good paying job, wore a suit during the week, and got himself a Greddy turbo kit off the shelf, Greddy gauges off the shelf, welded the diff, and wanted to go drifting. Maybe he couldn't afford, or she couldn't afford, a second car, so they just went all out on their only car. That's what I imagine anyways. Endless coilovers, stock brakes here. It's got stainless steel brake lines, and then it's got some Megan Racing control arms in the rear. So the car needs an alignment. Just gonna be honest, the car needs an alignment. It is going in for a tune on Saturday, which is kind of why I wanted to drive it first. A cage like this on the street, you guys, very dangerous, I know that, but you know, we're not pushing the car too crazy, shouldn't be a big deal. Will's got an authentic Mazda Speed racing seat here, I guess just kind of, you know, bucket seat. It reminds me of a Recaro SR3. You know, there's rattles here, there's squeaks. It's a race car kind of, which is funny because Will dailies it, but God, the rotation's amazing though. As always with FDs, you know, despite all of the modifications, it's so incredibly tough to upset the balance of an FD, it really is. No rubbing either. Definitely can tell this was a driver. All right.
Forgot to tell you the door wasn't closed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, was that what I was hearing something? It sounded like there was more road noise coming in, but obviously that's... All right, guys, well, the passenger door was open that entire drive, so if there was an excessive amount of road noise, that's why. That's it for this one, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, I know it's been a long time since I've plugged our jet tags on the channel, roadsuntraveled.com. If you want to hit our collection, we have a lot. We have an insane amount of jet tags going on. Of course, 13B, we've got all the iconic, you know, RBs, JCs, and whatnot. We've got some new designs coming in. And if you want to cop a Roads Untraveled hat, our inventory currently is 50% off. I have a couple of those left before we make some new designs, so hit that if you want. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.